The luminous threshold of intention, where elevation and degradation are first revealed. Which part of the human system reveals the origin of one's elevated or degraded intentions, and how can it be recognized? Answer: within the heart, a subtle light arises from a narrow inward passage. Unlike the fleshy physical heart, this light rises upward, meaning it is oriented toward the higher governing dimension of the human being, rather than toward bodily impulse or sensory reaction. This luminous flow is often referred to as the light of faith. Within this radiant screen, every emerging impression related to a virtuous act, whether verbal, financial, physical, or otherwise, appears with a distinct signature. In reality, this luminous screen functions as the primary point of attention and interception for the personal Satan operating within the human being. The moment even the faintest trace of a noble intention appears on this luminous screen, Satan immediately initiates satanic whisperings and temptations, launching various forms of fear, doubt, distraction, or delay, each carefully tailored to the individual's specific psychological makeup and vulnerabilities, a process traditionally referred to as waswasa. If a person's spiritual faculties are strong, such whisperings carry little weight. In some cases, Satan even withdraws from outright obstruction, resigning to allowing a lesser active to proceed, so long as it prevents the fulfillment of a greater one. I recall a saying attributed to Imam Jafar, may God be pleased with him. When asked, "Who is a person insightful of God, Arif Kamil?" he replied, "The one who, when faced with two good actions, prioritizes the greater one and devotes attention and effort to it." This insight reveals the deeper battlefield of intention. If a person's spiritual condition is weak, then in one way or another, they are at least temporarily prevented from carrying out the intended action, halted by the accumulating pressure of these whisperings precisely at the threshold between intention and execution. For example, someone may come across a heartfelt online appeal, perhaps a crowdfunding campaign for a refugee family, a displaced student, or a struggling single parent, and feel genuinely moved to contribute. As soon as this intention appears in the light of the heart and is perceived by Satan, whisperings begin immediately. How do you know this is real? What if it's a scam? If that tactic fails, the whisper continues. Wouldn't it be better to give that support to someone from your own relatives, someone who has a rightful claim over you? If that too fails, another suggestion follows. Fine, but don't give all of it. You're giving too much to one person. At this point, it must be emphasized that we are not discussing how the intellect ultimately determines which course of action is taken. Our focus here is solely on the nature of these temptations and whisperings, how they are introduced, how they interfere, and how they seek to obstruct action before it materializes. The deeper objective behind these satanic interferences, as well as their structural mechanisms, will be explored in detail in later chapters of this book, after the identity and operational patterns of Satan have been examined more fully. If the tranquil ego has ascended to take the place of the heart, and the heart has risen to the station of the spirit, as previously explained, then just as the spirit governs the flow of life throughout the body, the heart likewise assumes control over the course of increasingly refined and virtuous actions. In this state, the heart does not act blindly or impulsively. It proceeds with full awareness of the obstacles posed by opposing forces, whether jinn or human embodiments of satanic influence, and after pushing aside several minor and feeble distractions, moves forward with clarity, steadiness, and resolve. The verse of the Quran that refers to the weakness of satanic plots pertains precisely to such people. Indeed, the scheme of Satan is ever weak. This assurance, however, is not universal. It does not apply to those whose spiritual faculties have deteriorated or been severely weakened. In such individuals, satanic whisperings become so dominant that even in the face of miracles, they resist the prophets and friends of God, sometimes even to the point of violent confrontation. When spiritual and egoic forces are in a state of balance within a person, decision-making may still require effort and vigilance, particularly in the modern world, where human embodiments of satanic influence have multiplied, creating serious barriers, diversions, and delays at precisely those moments when moral responsibility calls for timely and conscious action. Concluding reflection, this chapter has examined the earliest point at which intention becomes visible within the human being and the forces that immediately contest it through temptation and whispering. The chapters that follow will move deeper into the inner order, examining the role of the intellect in judgment, the anatomy of these influences, and the conditions under which intention either matures into action or dissolves into hesitation.